What's up, everybody? Welcome to a new week and a new edition of Black Box Beat. I'm Kang.
I'm Maria.
And I'm Hells.
All right, before we get started, guys, just a heads up. It is storming where I live down here in Dallas. Got a little bit of storm, so if my screen or the picture that you see goes a little bit fuzzy or I start to freeze, I apologize in advance. So please just bear with me. Let's go ahead and get started. Chat room chatter. What do we got, Hellsbells?
We had big, massive green candles. We had candles so big and so green and so dynamic, it absolutely obliterated the screen. I had to sit there and be like, what happened? It's still going. That was this morning when they released CPI. The number came in. Look, in all honesty, the numbers are good. They weren't that good. It wasn't that great of a print, in my opinion, overall. But I think overall, the market reaction to it still is sitting in the overall landscape of it wants to push higher until it doesn't. And so we came up, we hit our head on some resistance up there. We spilled back down, and where did we finish? Right about where we were pre-market when we banged the upside. That's what I saw. That's kind of what I witnessed. Flow in between there. I don't know. What do you think, Kang?
I'm with you, man. I was thinking really this morning what kind of had me dumbfounded. I thought we were going to, push up. I thought that was a good number this morning. I mean, core came in line, still is elevated, but, it came in line with expectations. The market doesn't like surprises. We came in 1/10 cooler on headline year over year. And so I thought it was, kind of in line with what the market was thinking. And I expected a rally throughout the day. Was interesting that we sold off. However, they're about 1:30 in the afternoon when we got that test of 4,100. And then pretty much it was just like straight up. So what I do think is interesting, though, I've got a longer term line down there at around 41.29.5. And for all of this drama today, I mean, up and down, it's like we're back to the neighborhood of 41.29.5. And I would just say really quickly, too, from a technical perspective, I don't know about y'all, but like this 41.20 to like 41.50 area, it seems like we're in purgatory. I mean, don't get me wrong, I'm enjoying scalping it between that band, but it's just like I'm ready for us to get up out of here. It's ping pong, it seems like.
First, of course, first thing, I loved seeing that pop off the number. I agree with Hell's Bells. That number really wasn't that great, but the market liked it, so it is what it is, right? So, and that early morning action definitely brought some interesting volatility. It was fun to trade it. I feel like we've been stuck sideways for the most part, day after day after day, not really getting solid moves. But today we actually did get some decent moves, and I'm actually really interested to see how the market reacts to tomorrow's data.
Yeah, look, it's like we got everything that we want as traders, right? It's like if you're a long term investor, you're still kind of like, well, what am I supposed to do here? But for traders, it was great for it because we got the range, right? We there were what if you count up the points on ES at the end of the day, there were well over 100 points to sit there and rip left and right. So that's good. What I think the problem is, at least for me, I'm looking at this. While I can see pockets of flow here and there, everything is just so mega cap centric. So we've seen flow in Meta cool down a little bit. We've seen flow come back into Google, Microsoft. Apple is in no man's land after that ER once again. Off of results again, they were good. Everything's good, but nothing was great, in my opinion, to justify kind of where we're sitting in through here. However, the bottom line is this: the only thing that matters at the end of the day is what somebody's willing to pay for something, and that's what we have. That's the market that we have.
Hmm.
We have Google News that sends everything on fire to the upside. That was really the catalyst. Oh, they're going to put AI in phones. Brilliant. To the moon. No stops. It's that's the environment that we're in. You give them a headline to chew on, and they're going to rip it, and they will absolutely smash anybody that even thought about getting short throughout the day. That's what I got.
Speaking of which, speaking of Google Hills, I saw that headline, and not to get off topic here, but I saw that they're going to introduce a $1,799 foldable
Yeah.
phone. And look, and look, I'm old. I felt old. I know Mario. We talk about this in the room sometimes. I felt old. I'm like I had a foldable phone one time. It was called a Razor. You know,
Yeah. And it
I
wasn't
want to see
eighteen
how
hundred
well they're
dollars.
going to do with that. Yeah, it
And
wasn't eight. Yeah,
Samsung
you're right.
already
It wasn't.
Samsung has one, right? They have the little flip phone. But if you go
Yeah.
in there and you talk to the people, they're like, hey, if you drop it, it's broken. If you talk
Mhm.
to the people that sell the phones, they're like, you have to be so careful with this thing. It's ridiculous. It'll break in a heartbeat. So it's like it's cool, it's neat, it's nifty. It's like there's no imagination anymore in the sector. It's like, okay, so what, BlackBerry's going to be back next with the next latest and greatest of what they did 20 years ago? This is what we're getting right now, and the charts show stagnation. So we're stagnant. So whatever.
Yeah.
I feel like
Where's the
Powell actually.
hologram?
I feel like Powell. I do. I feel like Jay Powell some days, but I can just be like, I don't know, whatever, guys. It just kind of is what it is. It just kind of does what it does. So it'll be fine. Just whatever. It's fine.
Just whatever.
It's fine.
It's
It's
fine.
fine.
It's all going to be okay. It's okay. We're all okay. It's all going to be fine. Let's go ahead and get into our next section. So, we've kind of talked about what happened, what's going on out there post CPI. Where's the money flowing? When we're looking at everything, that's one thing, right? Where is that money flowing? Because as far as I can see, it's flowing nowhere. I don't really see it flowing
You say,
confidently into any sector.
well, it's obvious. You say AI, and the money flows there immediately within seconds. It's
Yeah.
like you say AI, and that's it. So that's where the money's
Yep.
flowing. It's like where it's not necessarily, it's not flowing into Tesla. Tesla is not getting flow. So Tesla's not
No.
getting flow in any capacity. You have flow coming into semis. Basically, AMD, Nvidia, they're getting good flow. We saw some good flow into metals. Silver getting exceptional flow here lately, based in, I think, in a lot of ways on dollar weakness. So it's like the flow keeps on coming in, but a lot of it is so short term. It really, really is. So it's like you had like Microsoft kind of dipping today, and all of a sudden they just came in and started nailing 312.50. So where does Microsoft go? 313.
Hmm.
Again, it's like that's the market that we have right now, to where flow is so driven in one direction in a short-term time frame. You bang it, you get out, that's over. It's like honestly, you might as well go fishing at the end of the day. When you see a call like this grouping of calls come in, okay, either go fishing, throw a brisket on, and relax, whatever you need to do. It's like, because that's
Right.
where the price is going to magnet towards, at the end of the day.
Absolutely.
I don't know.
I agree. I agree with you. I don't. I think what I'm missing out of the flow is that quality, the time period, right? Because for me, at least the way I look at it is the more time they buy, the more confident they are in the play. But I agree with you. Yeah,
Mhm.
is AI getting flow? Absolutely. Are we getting some pre NVIDIA ER, semi flow? Absolutely. I just want to see them really come in and hammer everything across the board with confidence.
I don't even know what I
And
want out of them anymore, Maria. I really, really
I
don't.
want it
It's like
all.
I don't know what I want, because as I'm looking at where we are, I'm going like, well, this is kind of ridiculous one way or the other. Like, no matter how I look at it. But again, the only thing that matters is what people are willing to pay. They want to pay,
Right.
so we go up. That's it.
I agree. Well, guess what? It's time for our favorite part of the show, Chat, Mary, Kill. We're not going to go back over
Woo.
those rules. We've gone over them a billion times. Hellsbells, what do you have for us?
Man, I got SoFi. I got the company and bank that I believe can lead the future. And somewhere out there, my old man sitting there cussing me like you would not believe. Because I think I talked to him about buying it when it was up there right around 17, 18, whatever it is. So my old man is probably kicking his computer screen over right now. Regardless of that, they came in, and the CEO, Noto, bought when we were below five. I think a lot of these banks are being bastardized for reasons that have nothing to do with their technicals. They just put on a great ER. The fundamentals are there for the company overall. There was nothing within that ER for them to sell. So we entered $6 calls out to 2024. They're already up about 45% from last week when we picked it up. So anybody that jumped in and played it and played that move, you're already up nicely. We got a lot of time to add and take off. I am a hardcore marrying SoFi.
I I see what you're saying there. I just given the where we're currently at. I took a look at it today as we were prepping for the show, and 578. I haven't looked at it since then, but 578 is where I had some resistance there on one of the longer time frames, and so for me to get jiggy with it, I need that thing to break over that resistance. So if it gets over 578, then I would look at it. But until then, I'm just going to sit back and wait.
To be fair, we did buy it at like 470, so it's like that would be one hell of a run up to your 578 resistance. So yeah, no, I appreciate that the line. We'll keep it in mind.
No worries.
Um, for myself, I like the name, I like the technical setup, and I like the play that Hellsbells has the room in. For myself, it's going to be a shag, primarily because it is slightly a little bit more volatile than I typically like for a swing. Um, but again, I still like it. That doesn't mean I won't, shag, 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 or scalp, 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 or a short term swing. It's just, it's not one I like to hold continuously longer term. But I love it. It's a shag.
Right on. I'll take it.
So mine is Ross Stores, ticker ROST. And we bought these a couple weeks ago. There was decent buying, a little over $1 million into the June 105 calls. And you'll see there the OI is actually increasing. They've not reported just yet, so I do anticipate potentially a little bit of a run prior to that. And as of right now, it is holding nicely over the 200. So for me, it's a shag.
Am I going to argue it with the concept of dressing for less? It's like everybody should want to dress for less. Isn't that really what it's all about? I like the
Yep.
idea. I know it's like with data, with what they anticipate and keep on telling us that we're all going to die in a recession here pretty soon. I think a store like Ross could do well long term. I dig it for, to go ahead and play with those upper levels again. Good idea.
Yeah, Mario, I think you make a compelling argument, and hells, I'm with you on the whole recession playbook and folks like looking for value. Um, However, my first, since I don't have a position in it already, if I'm looking to put new money to work, I'm looking at that compression over there on the right hand side of that chart. It looks like it's in a wedge. So for me to commit to it, I want to wait and see what it does out of that. So again, since I don't already have a position in it, I'm just going to wait to see if we can get out of that and which direction we get out of that, and that'll influence which direction and time and so on and so forth that I put on for raw stores. But I do like the play.
Awesome. Perfect. Nice.
So for me, this is an old friend. I don't have a position in it yet, but this is something that I'm watching. Again, don't necessarily know which way we're going to go, but you can see right here on NVIDIA, you do have a rising channel right here that it has been consolidating in for quite some time. Now, this is a 4-hour chart. And again, this could easily move to the upside. However, when we go down to, the lower time frame, you'll see here that pretty much right up there at resistance, you have a left shoulder head and a right shoulder. Now, today, we came down pretty much to almost within, spitting distance of that neckline down there, which I've got down there at 84.50. So 284.50. So basically, that's where I'm going to be watching. I do not have a position on it yet. If you take out that head to the upside, then of course this is busted. But I'm going to be watching that 284.50 to see if we break. So again, this is just a wait, but I want to see what we're going to do right there at resistance and see which way we decide to get out of this consolidation on NVIDIA.
What
Well,
you got,
I can
House?
say this. You've been watching this for a little while, and if you watch it anymore, it's going to get a restraining order against you. I'm just kind of putting it out. As you continue to stock it, continue to watch it, I'm going to feel a lot better when they're done with their ER. I think it's the week of the 24th for some reason, just off of memory. I'll feel a lot better about trying to trade it. But it's like based on the wedges you're putting up there, the most risingest wedge that's ever existed, other than Apple, maybe. It's like you have an area here that going in, maybe it gets a little pullback going into ER. But the only issue that I have with shorting any of these semis is the fact that they can just whisper AI and all of a sudden, they're up 2% within 3 minutes. It's like that's the biggest scare that I have. So I'll scalp as good as I can, make sure I'm setting stops along the way, either long or short. Because if one company gets an AI, that means the other company gets to get kicked in the face. It's a messy, messy zone right now. So great idea. We'll keep it on watch.
It's a shag for me. I think that 290 to 300 ish area is pretty sticky, but I'm still long. So, and watching it pretty closely, I like it. Obviously, because you guys know I love Nvidia, but and sometimes I hate her. But for right now, I do like it. It's a cautious shag. All right. Our next section is our viewer question, where you guys submit a question to us. Go ahead, Hellsbells. What do you got?
All right, this question comes from a Roadhouse favorite. This is Mint Dragon. So the question is, go away in May. What should we look for and why? So everybody knows that the concept of sell in May, go away. For me, it becomes very interesting. Ultimately, this goes back to flow for me. So what I'm be watching for specifically, are they writing calls or writing puts with time on them? So if we're seeing a lot of call flow being written, a lot of heavy calls being written out to, let's say, August, I'm going to be a little bit wary as far as moving through the summer in these next couple of months to the upside. If they're writing puts, that changes the game completely back the other way. I'll be very wary about looking to short or go short or take profits on anything that I have. This market wants to grind, barring a headline. And right now, until flow comes in and tells me something different, and flow has always led the way at the end of the day, I'm going to continue to be on the lookout for these things and let those things tell me, not what the air and space and everything around us have to say. Especially not Papa Pal. Still pissed at that dude. He just still, just aggravated by the man. That's what I got.
So for my number one, I agree with what Hell's Bells is saying. And for myself, I do tend to look towards flow a little bit more to tell us whether or not it's going to be a sell and may go away year, because not every year is a sell and may go away year. Some years that we've had, have actually run all 12 months. So I tend to look towards flow to give me some kind of signal of how confident smart money is. And I personally tend to stay a little bit more selective in what flow I'm gonna follow, primarily because we do know that it is typically a slower time of the year. You just kind of gotta kind of keep your eyes open for that rare year where it's not a sell and may go away.
I agree. Yeah. I mean, it's just an adage, but it doesn't necessarily mean that that is what is going to happen. Even though we are starting to get into this, is kind of the beginning of the time when we start to move into the summer, and we all know what happens in the summer. It just kind of slows down a little bit. So for me, I'm relying heavily on the charts. And so right now we're kind of stuck in this range up here, like I mentioned earlier in the show, 4120 to 4150. It seems like that is kind of this range. And so for me, the way that I look at it is if the chart ain't lit, I can't commit. Right. So I am not going to put money to work if I don't see it in the charts. And so for me, it's pretty much just been a scalp, like today, scalper's paradise, and pretty much sitting in cash. And so I want to overnight. So I want to see when we're going to get out of that range, and then I'll start to kind of put on some size. But I've just been scalping intraday. But yeah, I mean, it doesn't mean that we're going to have selling May and go away. So I wouldn't want anybody to be super cautious, but just kind of use your best judgment, whether you rely on, flow charts or a hybrid of both. We'll see what we get.
Yeah, and I think you both make really really great points, and hopefully Mint Dragon, it will take kind of take what we're saying and add his own mix to it. The reality is like flow is there for the week and for the day and for the hour. We've seen a lot of same day intraday flow. These ODTs that have come out have really driven the market one way or the other on a daily basis. So it's like as long as the flow continues to tell the story, I don't know that we necessarily need to worry about, like you said, Kang, adages or things that are meant ultimately to scare. Because let's tell the truth, everybody around us has been trying to scare the living shit out of us for how many months now? How many months has everybody been trying to scare the living shit out of all of us? And what have we done? We have grinded and melted higher since October. So it's like I would be wary of anything other than your own analysis and the own risk that you're willing to put on at the end of the day. Because in all honesty, you're only responsible for you, not for anybody else. You don't share a bank account with anybody. You don't share bills with anybody. That's your money. So just because somebody's saying something doesn't mean that it is what it is. And I'm tired of these cats telling us that we're all going to die and we're still here. Maybe tomorrow's the day we all die. Maybe it's possible. It's conceivable.
Nah.
Well, hey, and if somebody is
Hey,
scaring the
no.
shit out of somebody, maybe that's a good. If somebody is getting the shit scared out of them, maybe they could go to Ross. You know, it's a good tie-in. Get them some new pants.
Hey, man, dress for less. You can't beat that. Can't beat that.
There you go, folks. So there's the music. We know what that means. If you'd like to submit a question, we'd love to hear from you. Please send us an email to BlackBoxBeat at BlackBoxStocks.com, or scan the QR code there at the bottom of the screen. We'd love to hear from you. If you'd like to be notified for future episodes, please make sure to go on the YouTube page and hit that like and subscribe. We'd love to have you here every single week. But for now, this is all we got, and we hope everybody stays green out there. Until next week, have a good one, everybody.
Bye, guys.